Hello everyone and welcome back to Beatles channel. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining me for this video. Hope you're all doing well. In today's video I'm going to be talking about compilation albums and more specifically the compilation albums of Paul McCartney. And there's been four and I want to kind of chew the fat over whether which is the best. If your mate Toby is phoning you up and saying, look, I feel like I need to get into the solo work of Paul McCartney, but I don't really know where to start. Hopefully, from watching this video, you can help advise your mate Toby, or whatever his name is, where to start. Now, compilations have got a little bit of a love-hate relationship with fans. If you're someone that buys absolutely everything, then you get pretty annoyed when a compilation album comes out because you're not really interested in it. That used to be quite a normal scenario back in the 70s, but that kind of all changed in the 80s, where compilation albums would invariably have a brand new track on them to help them sell. So if you had everything that was on the compilation album, there would be a new track that you didn't have, which would kind of force your hand a little bit to buy it. Of course, you could buy the standalone single. Now, I think that there's two things about compilation albums. One is the timing of them. We've talked about this before. It depends when a compilation album comes out. That is usually your gateway into any artist. We've talked about this before. For me, getting into the Beatles in 1976, the Red and the Blue album were my sort of gateway into the Beatles. And if you were sort of first discovering Paul's solo work in the sort of the late 70s, then chances are that the compilation album that you would have come across would have been Wings' Greatest. Came out in 1978. It sort of fell in between London Town and Back to the Egg at the end of Paul's contract with EMI before he went over to Columbia. And you can be sure, as eggs is eggs, that at the end of any artist's legal obligations to their record label comes to an end, there will be either a compilation album or a live album coming out from the outgoing label, making the most of the very last dregs of the what's available under the contract. Now, Wings' Greatest, which came out in 1978, as I said, that is the track list. And let's go through it. It's not strictly a Wings album, because it's got things on it like Another Day and Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, which wasn't even a single in the UK, but of course it was a #1 in America. So, side one, Another Day, Silly Love Songs, Live and Let Die, standalone single, Junior's Farm, standalone single, With a Little Luck from London Town, Band on the Run. Side two, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, Hi Hi Hi, Let 'Em In, My Love, Jet, and Mull of Kintyre. A good track listing, but is it a perfect track listing? Probably not, because you could argue the case. Well, Hi 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 is here, but where is Sea Moon? Sea Moon was, it was a B-side, but it sort of became a kind of double A-side when, the BBC refused to play Hi 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 on the radio and they played Sea Moon instead. Mull of Kintyre, #1 everywhere else in the world apart from America, where they flipped it over and played Girls' School, which only got to number 33. You could also argue that something like, say, Helen Wheels, which got to number 12 in the UK, is not here, but Junior's Farm, which only got to number 16, is here. And also, listen to what the man said. #1 in America, #6 in the UK, but nowhere to be seen on this album. Now, so it's a little bit flawed. It's a little bit flawed as Wings' greatest, but you know, most of the bones are here. Now, when this came out, I didn't really need to buy it because once I'd kind of got on this mission of, you know, trying to get everything that, you know, that Paul had released, in these are obviously the days before you could just go on eBay and just go and buy an old single from God knows who, you know who. If you wanted a single that had been out a couple of years ago, for example, Live and Let Die, for example, you had to go into your record shop and ask the burly bloke behind the counter to order the record for you. And he used to get out this great big book and slam it on the desk as he was doing you a big favour, because he was ordering you a record, and page through all the whole catalogue until he found the sequence number for Live and Let Die, and then he would order you the record, and a couple of weeks later the record would come into the shop, you go and pick it up and you buy it and you got your single. And I was doing that for, you know, quite a few singles, because a lot of Paul's singles had B-sides that weren't on albums and stuff. So, you know, I bought things like the single For Another Day and Junior's Farm, and even Band on the Run, because it had Zoo Gang on the back and that, you know, that sort of thing. So when this came out, I didn't really need it, but I bought it anyway. If we're going to show you, you know, the vinyl, we might as well show you the rather than the 1978 black vinyl. This piece of beautiful plastic, which was the 2017 coloured vinyl issue of Wings' Greatest. That is absolutely gorgeous. That is Wings' Greatest. And when you think about it, as Paul was the most successful solo ex-Beatle up to this point, he was the last to be afforded a compilation album. You know, George had the Best of George Harrison, 1976 going back to 1975. Both John and Ringo had compilation albums in Shaved Fish and Blast from Your Past. And finally in 1978, Paul got Wings' Greatest. And you know, I think that the other thing about compilation albums is that they are there to kind of draw in new fans, and the fans that it will draw in will depend on the timing. So if you kind of, you know, if you sort of discovered Paul's solo work in the late 70s, Wings' Greatest would have been the one that would have got you on board. If you were an 80s kid, then it probably would have been All the Best, which we'll come to next. Just a final word on Wings' Greatest. If you're a CD buyer, the CD of Wings' Greatest is identical to the LP. So there's no track, you know, there's no differences between the two. They are the same. But that is where the similarity between these compilation ends, and it starts to get a little bit complicated when we get to All the Best, the next one. So All the Best came out sort of November 1987, cashing on the Christmas market of 1987. And obviously by the time we got to 1987, we had a lot more material to consider for compilations. We had, you know, the extra span of albums was from Back to the Egg to Press to Play. Not that there were any tracks from Back to the Egg or Press to Play on the All the Best album. What they did do was include a brand new song, Once Upon a Long Ago. Now, little caveat to that is that whereas Wings' Greatest was more of a global compilation, so it took in things that were hits that were maybe in the US that weren't a hit in the UK and vice versa. What they decided to do with All the Best was specifically gear the compilation All the Best to the American market and to the rest of the world, and try and reflect the songs that were hits in those territories. So consequently, we get quite a few variations between the two. So this one here that I've got here is the UK double LP version. There are 20 tracks on this, and it clocks in at nearly 87 minutes. 87 minutes is too long to fit everything on a CD. So the CD was whittled down to 17 tracks. So 3 tracks that are on this LP were not included on the CD. So let's just go through the tracks that are here. So it's a double LP. There are 5 tracks on each side. So side 1 is Jet, Band on the Run, Coming Up. Now that on the UK version is the studio version from McCartney 2, Ebony and Ivory, and Listen to What the Man Said. Side 2, No More Lonely Nights from Broad Street, Silly Love Songs, Let 'Em In, Sea Moon is here, and Pipes of Peace. Side 3, Live and Let Die, Another Day, Maybe I'm Amazed. Now, Maybe I'm Amazed is the studio version from McCartney 1, which was not a single in the UK or in the US. And on the, it made me think that the version that would be on here would be the live version from Wings Over America, because that was it was number 28, I think it was, in the UK, but number 10 in the in the US. So quite a big hit. But no, this is the studio version from McCartney 1 that's included here. Then we get Good Night Tonight, and then we get the brand new single Once Upon a Long Ago, which is probably worth the entrance fee alone. Absolutely superb song, which was never a hit in America, wasn't released in America, wasn't on the American All the Best either, but absolutely fantastic song, produced by Phil Ramone with Nigel Kennedy on his electric violin, and just fantastic guitar solo in it, and lots of different versions. Now, it was there to sell the All the Best album, but you didn't have to buy All the Best just to get Once Upon a Long Ago. It was a standalone single. It was a 7-inch single and a 12-inch single, a couple of versions actually. So you could buy it separately, which is what I did. So I didn't own this album until fairly recently. I didn't buy it at the time. Side 4, Say, With a Little Luck, and that is the full London Town version of With a Little Luck, with the extra sort of minute and a half at the end. My Love, and then We All Stand Together, and Mull of Kintyre. So that is the UK LP. The UK CD, now this is where you have to concentrate. The UK CD was whittled down to 17 tracks. 3 tracks are missing. Maybe I'm Amazed, Good Night Tonight, and With a Little Luck were left off of the CD to bring it in at about 72 minutes. Now, on the US version of All the Best, there were further cuts, because quite a few of these songs were not hits in the US. So in the US version, we had 17 tracks on the LP and 17 tracks on the CD. So on the CD and the vinyl leaves out Pipes of Peace, Maybe I'm Amazed, Once Upon a Long Ago, We All Stand Together, and Mull of Kintyre. None of these were very big hits in America, but it adds, in addition to the UK album, so these weren't on the UK album, Junior's Farm and Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, so that was added. And the another difference is that the version of Coming Up that was on the US version of All the Best was the live version, which was a #1 hit in America. In the UK, that was the B-side of the McCartney 2 version, which I think was a #2 hit in the UK. And also on the US version, With a Little Luck, is the single edited version, so it does miss off that that minute and a half that we get on the London Town version. So that is the kind of the difference. I suppose, you know, that in the you know, in the scheme of things, the UK version is probably the better version, if you can put up with the, you know, We All Stand Together. But it has got Once Upon a Long Ago on it, which is a big plus. So All the Best, very well packaged album. Every song had its own little sort of icon, little diagram, little drawing to represent the songs. That's the back of the album there. Very good gatefold for All the Best. Interesting. And, you know, to add sort of further weight to the Wings Over America argument, you could say that, you know, that each track, it kind of tells you which album and stuff that each track comes from. And for Maybe I'm Amazed, it says it's 45, which makes you think that it should be the Wings Over America, especially as there's a Wings Over America picture there, but there are no tracks from Wings Over America on this, so it's a bit odd. So we'll just have a quick look at the vinyl, because All the Best is a very well presented compilation album. There is printed lyrics on the inner sleeves of both albums, and these sort of rather obvious little drawings representing each song. A jet coming up like a flower, ebony and ivory, and here we've got a little band going for a run. So a little bit obvious, but you know, it is what it is. The vinyl looks like this. I'll just show you the one disc because they are sort of both the same custom label there. But very, very nice indeed. You know, again, is it a perfect compilation? Well, we still see that Helen Wills is still being the poor relation of the hit single. Again, it's been left off here. You know, there is repetition between this and Wings' Greatest. I think that the main thing is that we've got High 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 is on Wings' Greatest. The other side of that, Sea Moon, is on All the Best. But you know, if you are an 80s kid, then this is your baby, and we can't really stress enough the importance of the compilation in terms of bringing in the new fans, the casual fans that are attracted to compilation albums because, you know, the music on them are hit singles and they're instantly accessible. But though, you know, you never know that if someone that buys All the Best and hears Listen to What the Man Said, you know, they might think, well, that's a really good song. I want to hear the mother album of that song, and go out and buy Venus and Mars. And so it goes on. You know, we've kind of seen this with, you know, we've just had the Red and Blue album, you know, and there are thousands and thousands of kids that have discovered Beatles music because, you know, Now and Then was a #1 single. And they thought, well, we'll go and have a listen to this band, this Beatles lot. And, you know, because of that, they've discovered the Red and the Blue album. And because of that, you know, there'll be someone somewhere in the world who will be hearing Sergeant Pepper for the very first time tomorrow. And then the next day, there'll be someone else hearing Sergeant Pepper for the very first time. And so it goes, and so it goes. And that is how it all works. So, you know, All the Best from 1987, the perfect compilation album. Not quite, but it's not far off. It's a really, really good compilation. When you think about the length of Paul McCartney's solo career, you could hardly accuse him of swamping the market with compilation albums. I say there's only been 1984, and from All the Best in 1987, we had to wait 14 years for the next one to come out, which was called Wingspan Hits and History. This came out in 2001. He waited 14 years to bring in the millennials into the world of Paul McCartney. Now, where Wings' Greatest and All the Best had been quite clearly greatest hits packages, Wingspan Hits and History is something different. Because it's split into two sections, hits and history. So the hits part of it, a double album, 18 tracks are the hits, and the rest of the album is the history, where we go deeper cuts, tracks from albums, B-sides, things that you wouldn't really expect to find on a compilation album in 2001. But that's what he did. Now, there is a thin line between, this is called Wingspan. It's supposed to be a Wings compilation, but you know, it kind of goes beyond that. There is a thin line. There's things like Another Day and Uncle Albert that are on here. And on the history part, there's quite a lot of tracks from McCartney. The album looks like that. As I say, it's quite hard to find these days on vinyl, and quite expensive as well. I will show you the vinyl and the inner sleeves, because the inner sleeves are very nice. You don't get the lyrics with these albums, but you do get the song credits, and you know, on the other side you get some nice photos on the inner sleeve. The hits part has got this sort of pinky violet custom label, which is very nice and quite unusual. That is for both of these LPs, so I don't need to show you the vinyl on both, but I will show you the picture, the inner sleeves, the pictures on the inner sleeves, because they're very nice. The history part of it come on a sort of a deep sort of purple, not the band Deep Purple, obviously, and there's some photos there, and the label is this sort of Deep Purple label, which is very nice. That is both for both of these. As I say, this is quite difficult to find these days on vinyl, and quite expensive. The good news is that the CD isn't hard to find. The track listing for the CD is identical to that of the quadruple album, so you're not missing anything by getting the CD, and it does come in this sort of nice 3D slipcase as well. So let's go through the tracks that are on here. So so the first part, the hits. So side one, Listen to What the Man Said, Band on the Run, Another Day, not a Wings song, Live and Let Die, Jet. Side two, My Love, Silly Love Songs, Pipes of Peace, Seamoo. Just 4 tracks, selling us a little bit short, I think. Side three, Hi Hi Hi, Let 'Em In, Good Night Tonight, Junior's Farm, Mull of Kintyre. And side 4, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, not a Wings track, With a Little Luck, which is the edited version. That's the 3-minute 13 version, not the full version that's on London Town. Coming up on the UK version of Wingspan, that is the McCartney 2 studio version. On the American version, it is the Live in Glasgow version. And wrapping up side 4 is No More Lonely Nights. Now, it does depend where you're drawing the line, as far as, you know, as I said, we've got a couple of tracks on here that are not strictly Wings tracks. And if we take that into consideration, that we've got some solo material on here, there are a couple of glaring omissions. You could argue, you know, Wonderful Christmas Time is a big hit. It's not here. Say was a big hit. It's not here. And Ebony and Ivory was a #1, both sides of the Atlantic. That isn't here either, but they're not Wings tracks, but you know, if Another Day's here and Admiral Halsey's, you know, and Uncle Albert and Admiral Halsey's here, then you could make a case for them being missed off. Of course, Helen Wills is not here either. When we get to the history, that is when it gets interesting. So these are deep cuts from albums and B-sides for those that want to go a little bit deeper into the world of Paul McCartney. So on the history LPs, you've got side 1, Let Me Roll It from Band on the Run, lovely Linda from McCartney. Track 3, Daytime, Nighttime Suffering, very good inclusion, B-side of Good Night Tonight, very welcome inclusion for that to be here. Maybe I'm Amazed, that again is the studio version from McCartney. And guess what track 5 is? Helen Wills is here. Helen Wills is a history rather than a hit, even though it was a bigger hit than some of the songs that were on the hits side. Side 1 is wrapped up with Bluebird from Band on the Run. Now side 2 is Heart of the Country from Ram, Every Night from McCartney, Take It Away from Tug of War, Junk, Man We Were Lonely, both from McCartney. It's very McCartney heavy, the history side. And Venus and Mars Rock Show, that is the DJ edit, so it's not the full version that is on Venus and Mars, it's the edited single version. Side 3 opens with Backseat of My Car from Ram, and again another welcome inclusion. Rockestra theme from Back to the Egg, Girlfriend from London Town, Waterfalls from McCartney 2, again not a Wings song, Tomorrow from Wings Wildlife, and side 4, Too Many People from Ram, the superb Call Me Back Again, Tug of War from Tug of War, obviously. And then we've got an unreleased track as far as audio goes, and that is Bitbop / Hey Diddle, which hasn't been released on audio until this point. It was on the documentary of Wingspan. So Wingspan came out with a big fanfare. It was a TV documentary where Mary McCartney is interviewing Paul, and they talk about about the Wings years and their relationship with Linda. A very interesting documentary that later came out on DVD. And Bitbop Hey Diddle is on that. So that has been taken from that and put on as an audio track for the first time. And side 4 ends with No More Lonely Nights, the play out version from Give My Regards to Broad Street. Interesting that, you know, the although it's supposed to be Wings, it only goes up to 1984. So that gives it the license to include some solo tracks, but nothing, you know, nothing from Flaming Pie, nothing from Flowers in the Dirt, nothing from Off the Ground included here. So that is it. I think it's a very good, the history part is very good if you want to go that deep. I'm not sure how many casual fans want to go that deep into, you know, McCartney on first discovery, but maybe they do after, you know, after they've heard the hits. Interesting to note that the Wingspan compilation was the most successful compilation in America, reaching number 2 on the Billboard chart. So that is it. So 2001 hits and history. Now, if I know for a fact, we know from the debates that we had on the red and blue, no one is ever going to come up with the perfect listing of you know, history tracks, deep cuts for you. Everyone's list is going to be different. We know that. So you're never going to get the perfect one for you. But I think that is a pretty good track listing, if a little bit heavy on the McCartney album, I think. But that is Wingspan Hits and History. So let's jog on 15 years to 2016 to our final compilation, and that is Pure McCartney. Now, there are 2 versions of this, and they are very different, that being the 4 LP version, this being the 4 CD version. There are 41 tracks on here. There are 67 on here. We'll go through the differences. This is a very, very nice package. It's 4 individual LPs in there. We'll go through them in a minute. It comes with a booklet, which I'll just go through very quickly. It's all pictures, really, not really anything. There's no text or anything, but a very nice sort of picture booklet. Not anything you haven't seen. If you've got the archive, if you've been collecting archive collections, then you've probably seen most of these photos before. But it is a very nice inclusion. I won't go through it all, but I will say I would kill for hair like that at his age. Fantastic shot. Okay, so a booklet. I haven't shown you it all. It's probably, I don't even know if the pages are numbered, are they? I'm not sure. At the back of it, you get a credit for every song, all the information, what album it comes from, and that sort of stuff. Okay, so these are the LPs. There are 4 of them, and they're all sort of treated like individual albums. Disc 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll start with disc 1. That is the photo on the front. They're not gatefolds, just the tracks on the back. Inside, you get a polyline sleeve and a non-polyline sleeve. That is the hype sticker for the set, and the vinyl. The vinyl's the same on all of these discs, so I won't show them all. There's sort of a white custom label there. Okay, let's go through the tracks on disc 1. So this isn't a greatest hits package. This is a career perspective. Paul said, you know, he got together with his team, and he just wanted a bunch of songs from throughout his career that would make maybe a nice little, car journey playlist or something like that. So side 1, Maybe I'm Amazed. That is the studio version from McCartney, Heart of the Country from Ram, Jet from Band on the Run, Warm and Beautiful from Speed of Sound, Listen to What the Man Said from Venus and Mars, and Dear Boy from Ram. Side 2, Silly Love Songs from Speed of Sound, the songs we were singing from Flaming Pie, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey again from Ram, Another Day again, standalone single, and New from the new album. So that is LP 1. This is LP 2. That's the track listing there. Is LP 2? Yes, it is LP 2. So kicks off with Mull of Kintyre. Then Sing the Changes from Electric Arguments, Jenny Wren from Chaos and Creation, Mrs. Vanderbilt from Band on the Run, and Save Us from New. Then side 4 is Let 'Em In from Speed of Sound, Let Me Roll It from Band on the Run, Ebony and Ivory from Tug of War, and that is the remixed version of Tug of War that they did the remix for the archive edition. All the tracks that are from Tug of War on Pure McCartney are from the remixed version of Tug of War rather than the original. And side 4 ends with 1985 from Band on the Run. LP3 looks like that. That's the track listing. So we've got, starts off with Band on the Run. Then we've got Arrow Through Me from Back to the Egg, My Love from Red Rose Speedway, Live and Let Die standalone single, Too Much Rain from Chaos and Creation. Side 6, Say Say Say. This is the 2015 remix where they switched Paul and Michael Jackson's vocals around. I think it was a Record Store Day release. I can't really remember. But interesting that they included that on here. I'm not keen on it. It sounds more like a Michael Jackson song than a Paul McCartney song to me. My Valentine from Kisses on the Bottom is here. Good Night Tonight, The World Tonight from Flaming Pie, and Pipes of Peace. Then LP4, great picture that is the back. We've got Dance Tonight from Memory Almost Full, Here Today, and Wanderlust from Tug of War, again the remixed 2015 version. Great Day from Flaming Pie. Coming Up, again that's the studio version from McCartney 2, and No More Lonely Nights from Give My Regards to Broad Street. And side 8 is Too Many People from Ram, Only Mama Knows from Memory Almost Full, With a Little Luck, again that is the edited version, the 3-minute 13 version from London Town. And Hope for the Future, maybe an unnecessary inclusion here, standalone single. And then finally Junk from McCartney 1. So that is the LP version. Now the CD version is very different, and I'll go through that in a sec. When I first started talking about Paul McCartney, I said there were 2 versions of it. There are actually 3, because there was a 2 CD version as well, which had 39 tracks on it, which I don't have, but I do have the 4 CD version, which has got 67 tracks. So it's a very, very comprehensive career perspective. From what I understand is that every LP up to the time of 2016 when this came out is covered here, apart from the Russian album Run Devil Run, and bizarrely Flowers in the Dirt. So every LP is covered here. All the hit singles are covered here as well, but lots and lots of deep cuts as well. So what I'm going to try and do is try and tell you which tracks are on the CD version that aren't on the LP version. It does come in this sort of hardback book. The photos that are in here are the same as I showed you with the that came with the LP set. So there's nothing really new to show you there. It is exactly the same. The CDs are all the same as well. They look very nice. That is the CDs. They do all look the same though, so no point in showing you them all. So let's try and work out which are the songs that have been added to the CD version that weren't on the LP version. So on disc 1, we've got Early Days from the new album, Big Barn Bed from Red Rose Speedway. Flaming Pie has been added from Flaming Pie. I think that is it from disc 1. Then from disc 2, we've got English Tea from Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Bit Bop from Wildlife. Then we've got Calico Skies from Flaming Pie. High 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 standalone single. Waterfalls from McCartney 2. Appreciate from New. Every Night. No, Every Night is an added track from McCartney. Junior's Farm, that is the full version, it's not the edited version. Then from disc 3, we've got Souvenir from Flaming Pie. Fine Line from Chaos and Creation. Press from Press to Play. Press to Play finally getting some recognition there. Wine Dark Open Sea from Off the Ground. Beautiful Night from Flaming Pie, Girlfriend from London Town, Queenie Eye from New and We All Stand Together standalone single, Good Times Coming, Feel the Sun from Press to Play, Baby's Request from Back to the Egg, Little Willow from Flaming Pie, Don't Let It Bring You Down from London Town, Venus and Mars Rock Show, the single version, which is so unsatisfactory, absolutely pointless release to come out as a single, because it cuts off right as the song gets going. I don't know why they did that. Temporary Secretary from McCartney 2, and that is it. So those are the differences between the LP and the compact disc version of Pure McCartney. Okay, so that is pretty much it from Pure McCartney. Sorry, what you're asking? Oh, out of the 67 tracks that are on the 4 CDs, you want to know whether there was room for Helen Wills, right? No, of course there wasn't. There was no room for Helen Wills out of 67 tracks. Room for Hope for the Future, room for We All Stand Together, but no room for Helen Wills, I'm afraid. That is that. I want to hear what you think about these compilations. Which was your sort of entry point into the solo work of Paul, and retrospectively, which of these 4 compilations do you prefer? I think for me, if you just want a greatest hits package, then I think it's got to be All the Best. If you want a nice long career perspective of Paul's solo work from start to finish, then the 4 CD Pure McCartney is the one to go for. As I've said before, there's never going to be the perfect playlist on any compilation. Everyone is going to have their own favourites that they would have wanted on there. I would have kicked a few of these off and put a few of my own on here as well, but I'm interested to hear what you think of these as well. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If you wouldn't mind, just take a second of your life just to give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, because it really does help the channel. It helps the video get out there to more people. You'd be doing me a big favour by giving it the thumbs up. If you have stumbled across this channel by absolute accident and you like what you see, please consider subscribing or supporting the channel by subscribing to the channel. I'll just look up the price list of what it costs to subscribe to the channel. Oh, it's nothing. It doesn't cost a penny. It's absolutely free. So if you fancy subscribing to the channel, we'd love to have you on board. Now, the other thing that I like to say, Beatly Tones, Beatly promise is that we don't have any adverts mid-roll on my videos, so you can watch my videos from the start to finish without any annoying adverts in the middle. That is my promise to you, and I will continue to do that. My next video, I'm going to be talking about gifts that I've received. I've been gifted not 1 but 2 entire record collections. Not massive collections, but big enough that it's taken me quite a bit of time to sift through them, because there's quite a bit of duplicates between the 2, and I've got to decide which ones I'm keeping, which ones I'm moving on, and I'm hoping to bring that to you very soon, maybe in the next video, maybe the video after that. As I say, it's taken me a little bit of time to go through them. Anyway, so that is it from me. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you all very soon. Bye bye.